Millionaire Mindset: How Poker Players Dominate Any Situation finally revealed why 99% of people make life-destroying decisions. The fix: if I told you there's a skill that can 10x your decision-making ability under pressure, would you give me 8 minutes of your life? Because what I'm about to reveal completely transformed how I think about leadership, strategy, and winning in the real world. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a poker table. What do you see? Most people visualize bluffs, luck, and chance. But as a performance archaeologist, I see something revolutionary: the ultimate laboratory for human decision-making under extreme pressure. The secret isn't in the cards, it's in the mindset of the person holding them. Here's the brutal truth nobody talks about. We live in a world that worships certainty and predictability, but real life operates like poker, a battlefield with incomplete information. While most people freeze when facing uncertainty, masters turn that uncertainty into their competitive edge. The invisible method of champions: a professional poker player develops a skill that few ever master: the ability to calculate odds, read subtle signals, and make precise decisions even when 70% of the information is hidden. This isn't a gambling skill, it's a superpower for life. Think about your last month. How many times did you let urgency drive you into reactive decisions instead of strategic ones? The difference between high performance and mediocrity lives right here, in the discipline to pause, analyze, and act with purpose. The hidden formula: elite players follow a specific mental protocol. Probability analysis: not just what could happen, but the actual likelihood of each scenario. Pattern recognition: spotting signals others completely miss. Emotional regulation: maintaining mental clarity when pressure peaks. Long-term vision: every decision connected to a bigger objective. This mindset of analysis and risk calculation is exactly what separates exceptional leaders from average people. It's not about having luck or special intuition, it's about mastering a thinking system. The silent transformation: true leadership isn't born from raw talent or natural charisma. It's born from meticulous preparation, disciplined observation, and the courage to act when others hesitate. It's the difference between reacting to events and orchestrating outcomes. Imagine applying this mindset to your negotiations, relationships, and career decisions. Every situation becomes an opportunity to demonstrate mastery, not luck. The decision-making revolution: here's what separates world-class performers from everyone else. They've learned to thrive in the gray areas where most people struggle. While others seek black and white answers, masters navigate complexity with surgical precision. This isn't about becoming calculating or cold. It's about developing the mental clarity to see situations as they really are, not as we hope or fear them to be. It's about making decisions based on reality, not wishful thinking. The compound effect of strategic thinking: every great decision compounds. When you consistently make choices based on analysis rather than emotion, based on probability rather than hope, you create momentum that becomes unstoppable. Small improvements in decision quality create massive improvements in life outcomes. Your first mission: here's your immediate challenge. Take an important decision you've been avoiding. Divide a sheet of paper into 2 columns: potential gains and real risks, but go deeper, add percentage probabilities to each scenario. This analytical discipline will be the first brick in your mental fortress. Uncertainty isn't your enemy, it's your greatest opportunity for differentiation. While others flee from complexity, you're developing the most valuable skill of the 21st century: making exceptional decisions with limited information. The poker table taught me that the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the best cards, it's the one with the best decision-making process. That person wins consistently, regardless of what life deals them. If you recognize that uncertainty is where real competitive advantage is born, drop strategy in the comments. And if you're ready to discover how masters read people like open books, the most dangerous knowledge is coming next. The secret to reading anyone like an open book: they'll never know. There's a skill so powerful it can give you an unfair advantage in any negotiation, relationship, or conflict. It's the ability to see what others are hiding. And I'm about to teach you exactly how to develop it. If you've already grasped that uncertainty is your playing field, then you're ready for the next revelation. High performance isn't about predicting the future, it's about reading the present with surgical precision. A poker master doesn't just calculate odds, they decode the silent language of human beings. The science of human tells. Every human being leaks information constantly. Micro expressions, voice tone changes, breathing patterns, body posture, it's a symphony of signals that most people completely ignore. But masters have turned this reading into an exact science. Here's what I discovered studying elite players. They don't just watch for obvious tells like nervousness or hesitation. They map unique behavioral patterns for each person. They identify when someone is confident, when they're bluffing, when they're genuinely uncertain. But here's the kicker: this skill translates directly to business, relationships, and leadership. Imagine knowing when your boss is genuinely interested in your proposal versus just being polite. Picture identifying when a client is ready to close versus when they still need convincing. The advanced reading protocol. The real power isn't just in reading others, it's in controlling your own signals. While you're decoding patterns, you're also shielding your own tells. It's a complex dance of perception and discretion. Masters develop a triple discipline: active observation, catching microsignals others miss completely; emotional neutrality, maintaining controlled expression and body language; real-time analysis, processing information and adjusting strategy instantly. This isn't manipulation, it's emotional intelligence at its most sophisticated level. The baseline breakthrough. Here's where most people fail. They try to read emotions without establishing baseline behavior. Masters spend time mapping how each person acts when relaxed, stressed, excited, or thinking. They build a behavioral GPS for everyone in their circle. Once you have someone's baseline, deviations become obvious. You'll notice when your team member is struggling before they verbalize it. You'll sense when a client has concerns before they voice them. You'll feel when your partner needs support before they ask. Real-world applications. In boardrooms, this skill is game-changing. You read the room's energy before presenting. You adjust your approach based on real-time feedback. You know when to push and when to pull back. In relationships, you develop razor-sharp empathy, not to manipulate, but to connect authentically. You become someone others trust because you truly see them. The emotional trap. Here's where most people crash and burn. They let their own emotions interfere with their reading. Anger, anxiety, expectation all create noise in your human radar. Masters cultivate what they call active neutrality, completely alert but emotionally stable. This emotional discipline doesn't just improve your reading ability, it transforms your presence. People feel your stability and naturally trust you more. The invisible training. Start today. Choose someone close to you and for 1 week, observe their unique patterns. How do they behave when happy, stressed, focused? Build a mental behavioral map. This is your foundation for developing advanced reading skills. Remember, the goal isn't advantage over others, it's deeper connection and more precise decisions. The compound effect of reading mastery. As you develop this skill, something magical happens. You become more influential, not because you're manipulative, but because you're responsive. You give people what they actually need, not what you think they need. Your communication becomes laser precise. If you want to master the art of reading human patterns like a pro, drop reading in the comments. And get ready, because I'm about to reveal how to turn every situation into a calculated advantage using pure mathematics applied to real life. The math formula that predicts your success rate works every time. What if I told you there's a mathematical formula that can predict your odds of success in any situation? This isn't mysticism, it's pure science applied to real life, and I'm about to show you exactly how to use it. Now that you know how to turn uncertainty into opportunity and read human patterns, it's time for the final revelation. How to calculate your odds of winning before you even make a move. Poker masters discovered something revolutionary: every decision can be quantified. The probabilistic thinking revolution. While ordinary people make decisions based on gut feelings or intuition, masters use mathematics. Not complex math, but simple calculations that transform uncertainty into strategic clarity. Here's the secret: they don't think in terms of, it'll work, or, it won't work. They think in specific probabilities. This strategy has a 70% success rate, with potential gain X and risk Y. This precision completely transforms decision quality. The expected value system. Every master applies an invisible formula. Expected value equals success probability, potential gain, failure probability, potential loss. Sounds complex? Let me simplify with a real example. Imagine you're considering investing $20,000 in advanced training. The program has an 80% chance of landing you a promotion worth $15,000 annually. The calculation, $15,000 to $20,000 equals $8,000 positive expected value in year 1 alone. Now, you're not gambling, you're investing based on mathematics, advanced strategic anticipation. True masters go beyond basic calculations. They visualize multiple scenarios, anticipating not just the next move, but entire sequences of possibilities. It's like playing chess in 4 dimensions. For every important decision, they map optimistic scenario, best possible outcome, realistic scenario, most likely outcome, pessimistic scenario, worst acceptable outcome, contingency scenario, recovery plans. This multidimensional vision eliminates 90% of life's unpleasant surprises. The discipline of the calculated pause. Here's where most people fail. They know the principles, but don't apply them under pressure. When situations heat up, they revert to reactive mode. Masters develop what they call the calculated pause. There's always a moment of analysis before action. This pause isn't hesitation, it's power. It's the difference between reacting and responding strategically. The decision tree methodology. Masters don't just calculate immediate outcomes, they map decision trees. Every choice branches into multiple possibilities, and each branch has its own probability and value. They're essentially running mental simulations of their future. This isn't paralysis by analysis, it's strategic preparation. When you've already considered multiple scenarios, you can pivot quickly when circumstances change. Immediate application to your life. Choose an important decision you're facing right now. Apply the complete system. List all possible outcomes, assign realistic probabilities to each. Calculate expected value, develop contingency plans for negative scenarios, execute with confidence based on data, not hope. The compound advantage. The beauty of this system is that it improves exponentially with use. Each calculated decision generates data to refine your next calculations. You develop intuition that's calibrated by reality, not wishful thinking. Over time, you become someone who consistently makes better choices than people around you. Not because you're luckier, but because you're more systematic. The meta skill development. As you practice probabilistic thinking, something deeper happens. You become comfortable with uncertainty because you can quantify it. You stop seeking perfect information and start making optimal decisions with available information. This mental shift is transformational. Instead of being paralyzed by not knowing everything, you become energized by the strategic possibilities. If you're ready to transform decision-making into exact science, drop "calculate" in the comments and prepare your mind for the final revelation: how to build a legacy that survives when everything else crumbles. How to build a mental empire nobody can touch. There's something more powerful than winning every hand, closing every deal, or accumulating every dollar. It's building something that endures when you're no longer here. Let me show you what really matters in the end. We've reached the point where poker psychology reveals its deepest lesson. High performance isn't measured by temporary victories, but by the permanent transformation you build within yourself. The greatest masters understood that the real game isn't against others, it's against your own limitations. The silent revolution of mindset. I've observed a fascinating pattern. Players who become obsessed with winning eventually lose everything. But those who fall in love with the process of continuous improvement build something indestructible, a mindset of excellence that transcends any specific situation. This mindset isn't about being perfect. It's about pursuing perfection every day, knowing that growth is infinite. Every decision becomes a brick in the construction of who you're becoming. The dynasty code. True masters follow an invisible code that goes far beyond strategies and tactics. Integrity under pressure, they maintain their values even when compromise would be easier. This consistency builds a reputation that opens doors for decades. Excellence in darkness, they practice discipline when nobody's watching. It's the silent training sessions, the difficult choices, the sacrifices nobody sees that build inner fortress. Contribution mindset, they understand that real power comes from elevating others. Their success multiplies when they become catalysts for others' growth, beyond material accumulation. Here's a truth few people grasp. Material empires can crumble overnight. Companies fail, markets crash, fortunes evaporate. But a mindset forged in discipline and purpose is indestructible. Your true legacy won't be what you accumulated, but who you became in the process. The people you inspired, the principles you stood for, the integrity you maintained when tested. Practical immortality. Think about the great names in history we admire. We don't remember them for what they owned, but for how they thought, how they acted, the principles they embodied. Marcus Aurelius isn't remembered for being emperor, but for the thoughts he left recorded. Leonardo da Vinci isn't celebrated for wealth, but for relentless curiosity. You're building your own version of this immortality with every conscious decision you make. The mental architecture of greatness. Masters understand something profound. Every day is both a test and an opportunity. A test of your commitment to excellence, and an opportunity to reinforce the neural pathways of high performance. They don't rely on motivation, they build systems. They create daily practices that ensure consistent growth regardless of how they feel. They understand that discipline is a muscle that gets stronger with use. Your transformation ritual. Here's your final commitment. Visualize yourself 10 years from now, at the peak of your high performance. What message would that future version send to you today? Write that message down. Read it every day. This isn't just motivation, it's mental programming. You're creating an internal GPS that will guide you through every future challenge. The infinite game high-performance mindset isn't a destination, it's an endless journey. Every day offers new opportunities to apply discipline, make conscious choices, build your personal dynasty of excellence. You're not just improving your life, you're becoming an example that will inspire others to discover their own potential. The ripple effect. The most powerful legacy isn't what you achieve for yourself, it's what you make possible for others. Every person you inspire to think strategically, act with integrity, and pursue excellence creates their own ripple effect. This is how legends are born, not from individual achievement, but from the movement they inspire, the ultimate realization. As we close this journey, remember, you now possess the mental tools that separate masters from amateurs. You understand uncertainty, you can read people, you can calculate odds, and you're building a legacy mindset. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. The real transformation begins when you consistently apply these principles in your daily life. If you're committed to building a legacy that transcends temporary victories, drop "My legacy" in the comments. You've just initiated a transformation that will change not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. The journey of the performance archaeologist never ends, and that's exactly what makes it extraordinary. Like if this video added value to your journey, subscribe to never miss the next high performance secrets.